Hey everyone, welcome back. This is lesson 4, and today we'll be looking at context and constraints, guiding your AI for better answers. So, why does context matter for AI decision making? Context essentially provides essential background information for the AI to understand. How do constraints shape the style, format, and boundaries of AI generated answers? You can think of constraints as guardrails to keep your responses on track, and we're going to look at some practical examples of incorporating both of these techniques. So something that we've already somewhat looked at in terms of context. Context just gives more specificity, as we've already said that the specifics in your prompts are crucial. And so adding context just enhances the accuracy further, reducing incorrect information, increases the relevance, focusing on what matters, and reduces ambiguity. So think of the AI like an out-of-town guest. If you don't tell it the context, such as where you live, what time it is, what your schedule looks like, it will have no clue on how to be helpful. The more it knows, the better it can adapt. So there's different types of context which we can provide. Firstly, audience context. And here's an example. Explain this concept to a team of junior developers who are new to Python. This signals the AI to simplify or elaborate accordingly. Use case context. Here's an example. I need a marketing email to promote a new online course about data science. This shapes the AI's angle and messaging. You can also provide more technical context. Reference the latest research in machine learning optimization from 2023. Ensures the AI focuses on the correct domain knowledge. Content format. Write your response in a Q&A style, which guides the structure, which is something that we've somewhat already looked at. So introducing constraints. What are constraints? Constraints are explicit limits or rules which we place on the AI's output, and you can think of them, as I've said, as guardrails to keep the AI's response on track. So if you think of a train, we've got guardrails to ensure the train always follows the correct path and doesn't deviate to some other path. So we don't want our answers to be deviating off into giving us an answer that we didn't really specify or desire. So why do they matter? As I've said, constraints prevent the AI from wandering off topic, help maintain a consistent brand voice, and keep your outputs neatly packaged for specific use cases. And we're going to look at some constraints in a moment. So what are the different types of constraints that we can apply? Tone. We can say use a friendly but professional tone. Or we can say speak like a data-driven analyst focusing on metrics. We can also, as we've looked at, add constraints in terms of length, such as keep the response under 150 words or provide a concise 2-3 sentence answer. Format, respond in bullet points or write in markdown with headers and subheaders, etc., etc. And something that we haven't looked at yet is avoidances. So we can say things like do not mention competitor brands or exclude any references to politics or religion and things of such nature. Right, so let's look at some practical examples. So we're just going to copy and paste this. So we've got a system message here. You are a customer support agent for a software company that builds project management tools. So this will be the context. So we head on over to ChatGPT. We're just going to paste that in like so. And this is our prompt. So we're just going to go ahead and paste this in also. So we've got a user is upset because our latest update broke a crucial feature. Write a response that acknowledges the frustration, explains our team is working on the fix and offers a temporary workaround. Use a calm, reassuring tone and keep it under 100 words. So this is perfect. Let's say you are a customer support agent, you're working for a software company, and you build project management tools, and you've got someone who's upset about a feature that is broken, and you want the AI to have this context of your working environment, your role, and so you can provide a tailored response. And this is how AI is very powerful in terms of aiding you and helping you in your day-to-day work. So let's see what it comes up with. So we've got, hi, user's name, hi Sally, I'm really sorry for the frustration caused by the recent update. We understand how important this feature is to your workflow. Our team is actively working on a fix and treating it as a top priority. In the meantime, a temporary workaround is to, you can set that whatever workaround in this placeholder here, which should keep things moving smoothly. We truly appreciate your patience and will keep you updated as we make progress. And so you can essentially use this template and go ahead and continue prompting different scenarios according to what different scenarios come up in your day-to-day work, different issues, problems that come up in your day-to-day work as an example, and just keep this template, seeing as the AI knows the context, or you can provide additional information as you go along. And so that's really the power of providing context. So we've got a little breakdown here. Context, the customer support agent dealing with a bug. Oh, we didn't actually add this in. Dealing with a bug in project management software. Constraints, calm tone. Oh, right. So it's just giving a summary of what we just done. Perfect. Yeah. So the constraints are calm tone and keeping the wording under 100 words, and must include an acknowledgement, an explanation, and a workaround showing our sympathy. And we've got a separate example here, a second example for a thought leadership blog post. So let's go ahead and paste this one in also. So just so the AI doesn't get confused, I'm going to say I have a new scenario. You are an expert. Yeah, there we are. Whoops. Perfect. Oh. What's happened there? There we go. Right. So I've said, I have a new scenario. You're an expert tech blogger specializing in AI ethics. Write a short blog post about the ethical concerns of AI facial recognition technology, referencing at least one real-world study from 2022, and use an informative tone, around 300 words, and include a concluding call to action, encouraging readers to learn more. Let's see what that comes up with. There we go. Now this is quite long, so we're not going to read all of it. We'll read the first two paragraphs. So, the ethical dilemma of AI facial recognition, bias, privacy and accountability. Facial recognition technology, FRT, has rapidly integrated into daily life, from unlocking smartphones to enhancing security in public spaces. However, its widespread adoption raises pressing ethical concerns, particularly regarding algorithmic bias and privacy violations. A 2022 review published on ARCIV, don't know how you say that, highlights significant demographic biases in facial recognition systems, revealing that these technologies often exhibit disparities in performance across different demographic groups such as race, ethnicity, and gender. Such biases can lead to unequal treatment and misidentification, especially in critical applications like law enforcement and hiring process. So being very specific, as we've said, will tailor your response. There we are. Here's a breakdown. So context is the expert tech blogger, AI ethics domain, and the constraints. It must reference a 2022 study. It's a 300-word limit and must have a call to action. So let's just quickly go back so we can see those things in action. So we've referenced a 2022 review published by ArcSiv, and we got a call to action here. And so adding in constraints just gives it a much more human and tailored response. And of course, you can include things, as we've mentioned, not to include things like competitors, and sensitive topics. I hope that's clear. And so, as you can see, when we combine the two, we get more focus, constraints, channel the AI's energy into exactly what matters, be more and more specific. As I always say, remember, I can never say the word. Specificity is key. Being specific is the key to prompt engineering. Efficiency, that you get the desired output faster, often with fewer iterations also. And clarity, a richly contextual prompt ensures the AI knows the scenario. Always recheck that your constraints are realistic. Over-constraining the AI can yield unnatural or forced results, while under-constraining might produce overly broad answers. So just some common mistakes and best practice here. Providing too much irrelevant context. And so the solution then is to keep context directly tied to your desired outcome and avoid clutter. Setting contradictory constraints. As an example, review them carefully. For example, write a 500-word essay in bullet points under 100 words. They are contradictory. Forgetting to update context or constraints if the scope changes. Each prompt iteration should reflect any new or changing conditions. Best practice, use system messages consistently. This is especially helpful in multi-step conversations. Start fresh when needed. If you need a new context, start a fresh conversation or restate the context in the new prompt so the AI is aligned properly, as we done. Alright, and yeah, that pretty much sums up for lesson 4, and we'll see you over in lesson 5.